Hi guys, Clara here, and today's going to be another Create This Book episode. Here is how thick the book is so far, but I bet we can make it bigger. The first page we're going to be doing is create a wall. Pretend this page is a wall, add graffiti to it. And I think I'm just going to go basic with this and just do my YouTube channel name. Now, I'm told to pretend that this page is a wall, but I think that would be a lot easier if it looked the part. So I'm going to use this sheet of orange construction paper as my base. Then with a red paint marker and a ruler, I'm drawing myself a brick wall. This took a bit of time, especially with the vertical lines, as I was nervous that I'd draw a line in the wrong spot and then feel the need to start over to fix it. Thankfully, this time that was not the case. After drawing the last few lines, my brick wall was finished and I was quite happy with it. I guess now's the time to start vandalizing this wall. So I grab some white paint and start laying down a solid base to add my color on. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I lightly sketched my design in pencil first, so this isn't freehand or anything, which I guess doesn't accurately depict the spirit of graffiti, but I suppose that this could be considered a graffiti-inspired mural. I'd love to paint an actual mural on one of my walls, but as I'm currently renting, I don't believe my landlord would appreciate my art as much as I would. Though, the second I get my own place, you can bet that you'll be seeing a mural painting video from me. If that's what people want to see, I guess. Let me know if you're interested in seeing me paint a mural one day. Getting back to this graffiti mural, since I decided to be basic and paint my own name on a wall, I figured I'd use the same color scheme as my logo. Here's a close-up since it's probably too small on your screen to see the details. I made this a few years ago with Microsoft Paint by drawing circles and copying and pasting into a circular design, which is why it looks so uneven and pixelated, but one of these days I'll make an updated version that's actually symmetrical. For now, it'll do. I actually wanted my logo to have a gradient, but again, Microsoft Paint. Therefore, I figured this mural would be a great chance to add the gradient I've always wanted. It's time to add some bold outlines to make everything pop. For this, I'm using my black paint marker and outlining all the letters. Some of the letters blend together, so I'll skip those, but the rest get a nice thick border. I also added random specks of paint surrounding the letters, which got their own gradient, and now a smaller outline with a fine tip marker. I thought these would add a little pizzazz to the writing, make it look a little bit more like graffiti. Did it work? Then to add to the illusion that this is graffiti and not carefully painted on, I'm adding some paint drops along the bottom edge of the letters, which I think is just what this graffiti needed. Remember my rule for this book? Add a smile to every page. I thought about skipping it for this because I really liked how it looked and I didn't want to change it, but I figured that that was the easy way out and that's hardly a path I choose. So I thought back to middle school and high school. You'd go into a bathroom stall and it'd be covered in little doodles and scribbled words. So that's where my mind went when I decided to add little doodle graffiti surrounding my mural. But one, of course, is a smile. I wasn't sure how I would like these additions as I thought it would take away from the mural, but I love it even more now. Besides, where are you gonna see a wall with a mural that doesn't have graffiti surrounding it? With my graffiti finally complete, I want to make this brick wall less boring. So with a quick snap, my wall now beautifully frames our graffiti. All that's left is to grab our once empty page and give it some life. I added little sections of brick to make it a bit more interesting, which also gave me the chance to add one last piece of graffiti. I don't always add the date to every page, but if it works out, it's a little detail that's always nice to have. Overall, this page has been one of my favorites to complete. What do you think of this graffiti mural? Okay, so the next page we're going to be doing is create a page of emotion. I thought this would be a great opportunity to try a character study of sorts, so this is going to be new for me, and will probably end up looking like several different people at the end of this. But that's what practice is for, right? I thought I would start on a positive note and draw a happy face. Plus, I get to cross off my rule for this page right away. 2 birds with 1 stone. Or face. Now, this character might have some resemblance to me, and while that's not what I was going for, that's just kind of what happens when you use your own face as a reference. I had to draw so many emotions for this page, and I didn't feel like trying to Google several different pictures of different emotions and look for ones with similar faces. So instead, I sat down, grabbed a mirror, and made some faces. Sure, I felt a little strange doing this, but it was a great way to see how the face wrinkles and creases as your expressions change. It also provided me great company, as I tend to spend hours at a time locked in my craft room, since that appears to be the only way I ever get anything done. Back to the drawing, the second emotion I chose is shocked or surprised, but not the kind of shock where you raise your eyebrows and flare your nostrils, but the kind of shock that makes you gasp for air and clutch your pearls. Go big or go home, right? I just realized that I'm creating an entire character study for a girl, and I've yet to give her a name, or any information for that matter. I'm going to call her Emily. Emily is an outgoing girl whose favorite meal is 3-cheese lasagna with extra garlicky bread. She's friendly to everyone, but don't mention her obsession with collecting buttons. Okay, character background is partially established, so let's continue with these drawings. While I'm choosing very expressive faces, I figured I should also have a baseline or a neutral face. This will probably be the expression most used by everyone anyway. But now that we have a happy, shocked, and neutral face, it's time to focus on some more negative emotions. Let's start with sadness. If you haven't already noticed, I'm really exaggerating the expressions, since trying to draw emotions with subtle changes is a bit too advanced for a beginner like me. Plus, I like the drama of it. I imagine this is how Emily would react if she was told that the restaurant she was in was out of garlic bread. Now, how else was she going to eat her lasagna? Garlic breadless? Are you mad? Speaking of, the only other emotion that makes sense to add is anger. I pictured a scenario where she invited someone into her home and they saw her display a wall that showcased a frame collection of her most prized buttons, and they told her that it was stupid and a bit much. So her reaction was to grind her teeth and bite her tongue to avoid saying some colorful words as a response to this unwarranted attack on her completely harmless hobby. Just don't insult her buttons, and you'll never have to see the side of her. Now, with all these rough sketches done, it's time to outline. I'm using a regular black pen since I wanted to keep the lines really thin. If I use my fine tip marker, all the small details would just smudge together, and I just know that I would hate those thick, blocky lines. But there is a reason I usually don't use a regular pen for outlining, and that is because they suck. I keep a spare piece of paper beside my hand because I need to constantly test and scribble on this piece of paper for this pen to work. You may also notice I'm not outlining the pupils, but since this pen sucks so much, I wasn't about to try and fill an entire pupil with it, so I'll fill those in later with a marker. Once every face is outlined and actually visible on camera now, I can erase these pencil lines to reveal the finished outline. Maybe just ignore the fact that all the eyes look super creepy right now. I thought that since the theme is emotions, I would choose the color that best represents the portrayed emotion. For example, happiness is commonly linked to the color yellow. I guess it makes sense since the sun is depicted as yellow and sunlight always makes everyone happy. But in reality, the sun emits all colors of the rainbow, which mix together to create white. But that's besides the point. For the shocked expression, it was kind of a mixed bag. Some people think purple represents surprised, but most people linked orange to feeling shocked. Orange was also linked to feeling disgusted, so I guess Emily is disgustingly shocked. The neutral expression was another mixed bag, as some people thought that white represents calm and neutral, but that didn't work for me since I needed a color. Some people represent green with being neutral and calm, which seemed like the better option to me, so green it was. The color for sadness was an easy pick, since she was obviously feeling blue. And if you're wondering how to make coloring with a single color easier, the trick is to go over everything with a white pencil crayon. Finally, it's time to color this anchor-filled face with some bright, fiery red. And as mentioned before, you can see the color difference after adding the white on top of the red. Oh, and I know you're wondering what I'm gonna do with the mouths, but at this point, I wasn't sure, so I left them blank. But with the last face done and seeing them all together, something was missing. There. Some color on the lips is exactly what she needed. Now just to glue everything into the book, and my emotions page is done. While all the faces do not perfectly match, I am happy with what I was able to accomplish. I love how the colors emphasize the emotion, and I'm glad I decided to color in the mouths too. Definitely would have looked weird otherwise. Which emotion was your favorite? And would you have used different colors than I chose? Let me know. The next page we'll be doing is create a page for stickers. Place stickers all over this page. For this page, I was immediately inspired, so I got right to work starting with outlining this spiky bubble, since I want to include it in my design. As for my stickers, I found these dinosaur stickers a while back and knew I just wanted to use these for this page. But before I can use these, I need to create a scenery for them to live in. I'm keeping the drawing style for this page pretty cartoony since I want the stickers to look like they belong. To help with that, I'm also keeping in mind the relative sizes of the dinosaurs. On the sticker sheet, they're all the same size, but in real life, I highly doubt you'd find a Brachiosaurus the same size as a pterodactyl. So I'm going to use this to my advantage later on when I place the stickers. For now, let's just design this world. I went a little crazy with the volcano outlines before moving on to retracing the million trees I thought was necessary to have. Some of the pencil details were changed when I went over in marker, but I ended up liking my changes better, so all was well. If you've watched any of my previous Create This Book episodes, of course I'm adding cliffs, no question. I also thought I would make this cliff more interesting and add a waterfall, which is conveniently placed out of view behind the cliffs closer to the foreground. Who says you need to draw a waterfall to have a waterfall? Okay, enough about outlining. I've said that word more than enough today. It's time to color. I know I said that this would be a more cartoony page, but I also wanted to practice shading, so this page is kind of a mixed look. I had a lot of fun with these trees. I wanted them to have highlights and lowlights, so I took out a scrap piece of paper to test out different color combinations before I settled on the one that I thought would look good on the trees, but also complement the color of the grass. Just in case if you were interested. I don't know how much you actually care about seeing. I'm sure some people think that I just sit down immediately after opening a page, but that's not my process most of the time. I usually just think about it for a few days to brainstorm ideas, and when I have a solid idea, I'll plan out mini rough sketches to see which design I like best. And even if I know what I'm drawing without much planning, like this page, I still test different color combos and determine which medium I'll use. My default is usually pencil crayon and black pen, but I like experimenting as much as I can, whether it's acrylic, watercolor, paper, markers, pens, pencil crayons, or something else. For example, for a brief moment I considered doing the same design with acrylic paint. Can you imagine? Trying to place stickers on curling, wrinkling paper did not sound fun. There's just a lot of things to consider before I start my pages, so I don't want anyone to think that I can just sit down and produce art. Planning and rough sketches are what make these pages possible. But as of now, you've been watching me color for a while and not much has changed. So let's speed this up and skip right to the end. Oh, wait, whoops, that's not finished yet. Let's try that again. Ah, that's better. Now we can deal with this spiky bubble. Bye-bye bubble. This page is looking good, so let's add it to the book before we continue. Finally, we can grab these stickers again and open them up. Before the dinosaurs are added, I used some flower stickers to decorate the bare-looking plants. And once those are down, let's introduce our dinosaurs to their new home. Remember how I said I would use the fact that all the stickers are the same size to my advantage? While it's not 100% accurate, I'm trying to place the smaller dinosaurs in the foreground where their size is relative to their surroundings. The larger dinosaurs will be placed further back where I drew their surroundings smaller, hopefully giving the appearance that they're larger in size. And in the very front of the foreground, I drew a nest for a family of dinosaur eggs to rest. With that, my sticker page is finally done. The camera doesn't do it justice since the sticker reflections are a bit distracting, but I really love this page. I think the volcano is my favorite part. Which part of this page was your favorite? Alright, that's all I have for you today. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you like this episode, let me know down in the comments which page was your favorite. But other than that, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye!